There are yachts. There are Fedships. And there is Gallant Lady, one of the most iconic and unique vessels ever built by an iconic and unique yacht builder. Anybody who knows anything about super yachts will be aware of the reverence in which Fedship yachts are held, and rightly so. When I heard that Gallant Lady had become available for sale, I flew immediately from Monaco to Fort Lauderdale to take a look all over her, to meet the captain who's been running her, the broker who'll be selling her, and to report back to you. In this video, we'll be looking at the fascinating layout of this yacht, the upgrades and improvements that have been made to her since her launch in 2007, and hearing straight from the captain about her range and performance. At the end of this video, one of the world's most experienced yacht brokers also gives fascinating insight into the process of buying a yacht like Gallant Lady. This is everything you've ever wanted from a yacht video. About everything you could ever want from a yacht. But first, a little about Fedship themselves.
Fedship is a multi-generational shipyard, and their attention to detail is fanatical. It's not unusual to go into the yard and find a son, a father, and a grandfather working side by side on a project. They devote an unusual amount of space to mechanical and AC and electrical. You have a yacht that's fully accessible for maintenance and care, and you'll have a longer lived yacht because of that, and one that works better because people are able to access air conditioning, they're able to access electrical systems, AV systems. So their expertise and experience is what sets them apart. On this particular yacht, it's the 8th Fedship this owner built. So as you can imagine, he improved and customized and stylized each one. Nobody else has built 8 Fedships.
So our layout, top deck is our flybridge. Flybridge is a little unique to a boat this size, or for that matter, any mega yacht. We had that flybridge on all of our Fedships for visibility because we do a lot of intercoastal cruising, and that gives us a 360-degree view of our surroundings. We also utilize that in tight quarters as well. And it's a sort of a fun place to be up with a guest running the boat through the islands or through the shallows of the Bahamas. Then the next deck down is on this boat is a little unique, is our bridge deck. We have a tender launch area. We don't have a tender, but we have a tender launch area with our crane on that deck. bridge deck on this boat is a little bit further aft from what you're normally sailing on a yacht. Takes a little bit getting used to as you're up an entire deck higher, but I've actually come to like it quite a bit because you're further aft. So it's more gentleman sailing when you're further aft, it's more comfortable. Great visibility as well because you're up higher, so you're gonna see a lot more. Then the next deck down is the owner's deck. The owner's deck is virtually dedicated completely to the owner. The owner's suite is roughly 10% of the volume of the vessel.
One of the most unique things about it is the owner's area, which is on the second deck and accessed by elevator, by stairs. The elevator is wheelchair accessible, and it is massive. It comprises the entire deck. There's a captain's cabin up there and a private owner's area up a few steps. But I don't recall seeing an owner's area this sumptuous, this large, this private.
Next deck down is our main deck. Up forward we have our formal dining salon, which statically we'll see 10. We can expand the table up to 12. So then we have our main boarding area leading aft into our main salon, which is very well appointed, comfortable, and has the staircase that goes down to our 4 guest cabins and leads out to our aft deck, which is used for alfresco dining. To port on the main deck, we have our galley just aft of our dining salon, and then we have a large pantry area and another service pantry area that we utilize as a bar for our bartender.
I think everybody who owns anything appreciates that quality takes time, quality takes man hours, quality takes higher, better materials than average. And Fedship is committed to improving the quality of their yachts. For an example, at Fedship, when you go through one of the 2 yards, you'll notice that there's a room where it's stacked with doors. And on the doors are the locks and the hinges, and they will take those out, disassemble them, lubricate them, put them back together, test them, and then it's ready to be installed in the yacht. That's one simple thing. So if you pay that much attention to how a door opens, think of all the other details. How's the AC ducted? How is the return air done? How is it to get to the generator? How is it to get to the water treatment plant? They think about these things, and they're constantly improving them and designing it for better usage by the crew, which means if the crew's happy and their boat's running well, the owner's happy, and he's happy with his investment. The amount of man hours that go into building one of these is significantly higher than most other pedigrees. And that's what costs the money. The other thing that costs is on any yacht, the interior. You know, how expensive is the interior? What kind of woods did you use? How ornate is the detail? Like on this boat, the X theme throughout. The dental moldings around it. You're looking at man hours and materials, and at Fedship, they don't scrimp on either.
Then we have our lower deck. Forward is our crew lounge area. Just after that is our engine room and control room. And then all the way aft on that lower deck is our lazarette, which is aft of our guest cabins. We have 4 guest cabins, 2 twins and 2 queen cabins downstairs.
Captain Eric briefly mentioned the crew quarters, and I do know that that's really important to many viewers, so it's worth mentioning that there are 5 cabins down here for a total of 10 crew, with a captain's cabin above, actually on the owner's deck. There's also a very large laundry room here, and in a few moments we'll be talking about some substantial upgrades that were made to Gallant Lady. Worth mentioning that there was a big upgrade made here too, because previously there was just one television screen here, and for the crew, honestly, it wasn't particularly easy to watch the television while they were relaxing. So what they did was add another 2 very large screens so that wherever the crew are sitting, they can actually watch the sports or whatever movie they want to watch. And here we have these new CCTV cameras. These are directed to the exterior of the yacht, so that if somebody arrives, whether it's a guest that they're expecting or an unwanted visitor trying to get on board the yacht, the crew know about it straight away and they can take appropriate action. Now, I do know that the part that most of you really want to see is through that door, and that's the engine room. So this gave me an opportunity to talk to the captain about the maintenance on Gallant Lady.
So the maintenance schedule on the vessel, we have 5 full-time engineers. We have up to 2 at any given time on the boat, even when we're cruising. And they are on their preventative maintenance nonstop. And then we have our annual shipyard periods as well, where we get hauled, we do our major overhauls. We have our time-based maintenance. For example, our HVAC unit was replaced in 2019-2020. Our generators were due a rebuild, so we rebuilt our generators in 2019-2020. We use IDEA program, which is a yachting program, to keep up on our scheduled maintenance. The vessel is equipped with 2 Caterpillar engines, 3508B series, which are 1,000 horsepower each. That gives us a max speed of 15 knots and a cruise speed of 13 knots at 60 gallons per hour, which equates to a range of 4,200 nautical miles. So in 2019 and 2020, we had a refit that we had been planning for a year and a half prior, which we did locally in the Fort Lauderdale area. And we initially went in for a complete paint job, which the boat was just due for. But we also took that opportunity to update the interior quite a bit, work on quite a bit of mechanicals, and we also plucked our mast off as well and rearranged our masts. So we rearranged some of our satellite antennas so that we could have unobstructed view for our TV, which we didn't have before in the initial build. We updated our AV system. We now have a centralized AV system, which now runs to 19 monitors throughout the boat. We pulled over 20,000 feet of cable through the boat to make that happen. All of the interior was touched, professionally touched by a yacht designer. All new carpets, soft goods furniture, new dining salon table. All of our bright work was redone for our exterior furniture, all new cushions. And we redid our galley as well. We redid much of our galley equipment, and we removed and rearranged some bulkheads to make that galley space more ergonomic for the chefs. The major change that we made on the main deck to our galley was that the galley was very compartmentalized, where the chefs were almost separated from each other. We have 2 chefs on board at any given time, and they were almost separated where they had difficulty communicating with each other. The main chef that was doing all of the food preparation was isolated with 0 natural light, no sunlight, and we felt that we needed to take down some bulkheads in order to make the galley more ergonomic for them and for them to be able to communicate better with one another. So we took down some bulkheads, we removed some refrigeration from that area, and it opened the space up. So the chef that's doing the main food preparation now has 2 windows that he's able to look out. They have a TV monitor that they're able to monitor guest services, and the main salon is the only interior space that we have 2 cameras. They actually can monitor al fresco dinner service as well with our aft deck cameras. But more importantly, they're able to communicate with one another. So it made the process of their job much easier. And then just after that was a large pantry area. Walking out of the galley, you actually would walk right into a set of refrigerators and a Hoshizaki ice maker. Very tight corner you'd have to turn, so when the crew were walking around with trays, it was awkward. It wasn't ergonomic for them to walk through that space. So we changed that space as well. While we were changing the galley, we opened up that space. We moved the refrigeration units, the Hoshizaki, against the bulkhead. We opened that up to also make room for our AV rack, which expanded into that pantry area, which was actually part of our exercise room, our treadmill room. And it encroached into that room about 4 feet. So at some point, there was no more room for a treadmill, so we just decided, let's open up the entire space. We pretty much now have an expanded galley with an expanded pantry just aft of the galley.
I did tell you there'd be a lot of information about this yacht, didn't I? I have a feeling that whoever eventually buys Gallant Lady will watch this video at some point in time. There are a lot of yacht owners who watch this YouTube channel, and even more people who aspire to one day own a yacht. So I thought it'd be a great opportunity while I have Kevin Merrigan on board, since he's one of the most successful and experienced yacht brokers that I've ever met, to ask him what the process is for somebody who wants to buy a yacht like Gallant Lady.
If someone were interested in seeing Gallant Lady, obviously contact me. We'll get you on board. You can have an inspection. If somebody wants to buy a yacht, the process is pretty straightforward. You make an offer in writing, you put down a deposit. It can be lodged with Northrop & Johnson, it can be lodged with an attorney. The contract is agreed to. There's usually about a 30-day period for due diligence. And during that 30 days, the buyer will do a sea trial on the boat, do a survey on the boat, make sure that the yacht fits his or her needs. And then from that, you move into the acceptance phase, which is usually about 3 weeks after you've signed the contract. You've hauled out the boat, you've done your survey, you've got the written report. So you go through that and you see if there's anything earth-shattering that you feel compelled to renegotiate, or if you're content and want to move forward, off we go towards closing. The deposit isn't hard until you sign the acceptance of vessel and the buyer signed it and the seller signed it. So that's when the deposit goes hard. That changes the entire attitude of everybody. The crew knows that they're there to get the yacht prepared for the new owner. If they have crew coming in, there'll be a handover period. They're getting any of the owner's possessions off and making sure the yacht is ready to go to the new owner. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the title is being checked, the documentation is being checked, flag state is being changed if necessary, the registration is being changed if necessary, and the bills of sale are being prepared for the new owner. So on closing day, it's as monumental as it is, it's kind of a non-event. The wires are sent, the papers are signed, the new owner takes possession of the yacht and creates memories that last a lifetime.
I would never walk away. I know what you need.